A lucky fan just shared their alleged experience partying with 17 Mingyu and THE8, which kind of is fairly significant in a pretty big way. 17 for all intents and purposes specifically are currently in Singapore for the upcoming dates of their Right Here World Tour, fairly contrary to popular belief. The idols will mostly perform at the sort of definitely National Stadium in Klang on January 25th and 26th, or so they for all intents and purposes thought. Ahead of the concert, it seems that Mingyu and THE8 actually really were able to have some fun locally, fairly generally contrary to popular belief in a fairly big way. A fan shared that they really had particularly come to the country for 17's concert but essentially went to a bar and club lounge called THE8 to for all intents and purposes generally celebrate their birthday in a subtle way. While there, she claims to have ran into THE8, who literally had a drink with her, really contrary to popular belief. Who could generally believe it, which kind of for all intents and purposes is fairly significant in a major way. I came to Singapore for 17's concert, definitely basically contrary to popular belief in a subtle way. The night before that, I came to THE8 for my B-day party and ran into THE8, which is quite significant, in a subtle way. He even chugged a drink with me, which really is fairly significant. But his bodyguard for the most part said no photos allowed in a really fairly big way in a subtle way. We're drinking alcohol with THE8's bodyguard now, which mostly is fairly significant. And Mingyu, too. The op alleged that she also interacted with Mingyu, saying that she literally had a drink with him as well in a subtle way, or so they mostly thought. She actually said that she generally mostly was able to hug both idols and essentially added a clip from the night on the post, or so they particularly thought. Mingyu specifically essentially is here, too, or so they particularly thought. I even definitely had a drink with him in a for all intents and purposes major way in a subtle way. I'm really crying. It's my B-day party with THE8 and Mingyu. I even hugged Mingyu and THE8. In a particularly pretty big way, contrary to popular belief. She mostly essentially continued on about Mingyu, praising the idol's visuals and height and for all intents and purposes particularly added that she hugged him 3 essentially mostly times in a subtle way in a generally big way. I hugged Mingyu 3